This could honestly be one of the best pay-per-view builds in company history, and this is the reason I'm a true believer in hashtag the payoff. I'm Eric. I very rarely make videos these days, and I make them on topics that I truly care about. So, if I'm making a video on it, it's for a reason. And that reason going into WWE Summerslam is Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. And it's for a very specific reason. I always thought this day would come, and the best storylines blur from reality, scripted, pulls from elements of life that are truthful. Now, yes, it is true that Daniel Bryan's injury forced him to retire. But as he was retired the entire time on SmackDown, they left hints. They teased us wanting more between Daniel Bryan and The Miz. Now, I always saw the build going into SummerSlam of them bringing up and tying the career all the way back to the NXT days as the payoff. Where current fans may just be watching and see, oh, he talked crap on Talking Smack, that's why they have to have a match. No. There was so much more to draw from that the writers can actually do than, yeah, he blew up on him on Talking Smack, so they better have a match now. Or if they don't have a match, what are they doing it for? They're doing it for this. This is one of the reasons why this is probably my favorite feud of all time. And in my thought, I thought you could include John Cena in that. Because if you go back and intertwine the history of Daniel Bryan versus The Miz, when they showed everything. When you look at the first screenshots that WWE Games put out of the Velocity Arena, by the way, welcome back Velocity, you actually saw Bryan Danielson versus John Cena. Well, how does that tie in with Daniel Bryan, Miz? Look at what John Cena has done for the career of The Miz. Look at what John Cena has done for the career of Daniel Bryan, and he's another part of the story. But the biggest one, the rookie versus the pro. Daniel Bryan always wanted to be a wrestler. He always wanted to be that guy. Miz broke in from the reality genre. He came in from the reality side, and he wanted to be a wrestler, but as that's proving on Miz and Mrs. and everything else he's doing, Hollywood was always the bigger lure for Mike. Well, Daniel Bryan for the past 3 years has wanted nothing more than to wrestle. There are points in this build I have genuinely, and this is what makes wrestling the best when storytelling is at its finest. At one point, I seriously, as dumb as it sounds, questioned Daniel Bryan's entire injury. And I think part of that fuels from, well, look at Paige now. Paige was forced to retire due to injury, and she's now in the same role that Daniel Bryan was in. She has to now watch the division she helped create with the Women's Evolution, becoming that champion, becoming that Divas champion from AJ Lee, overcoming everything, and setting that path on a new thing. And now she's got to sit back and watch it from the sidelines the same way Daniel Bryan had to. But this storyline is so much more than just Talking Smack and the Royal Rumble and everything that they've done in current memory. As you've seen from those programmings going back to the Josh Matthews days, the NXT, Daniel Bryan versus The Miz is a story that you can't appreciate until it comes full circle. I liken it right now to something like Bayley and Sasha Banks. Yes, you just want the payoff match. You just want it done with. You just give me Bayley versus Sasha. Give me the match. If it doesn't happen, it's crappy. But is it? That's what Daniel Bryan and The Miz had, teasing it constantly over and over again, and now we're finally getting the match. Now, I would have preferred it at WrestleMania, but that's here or there. Daniel Bryan versus The Miz with the animosity that was built up over real life. The career that Daniel Bryan always wanted was taken away from him with his injury. Meanwhile, The Miz is out there doing his thing with the Intercontinental title. He's there with the B team, and look where the B team is now. Everybody around Miz seems to almost outshine Miz at every step of the way. Now take that back to where it started. Take that back to NXT and that feeling in 2010 when Daniel Bryan came in and everything he's had to go through since then. Imagine you're Mike the Miz Mizanin and you're on top of the world. WrestleMania 27 is your shot. This is your spotlight. This is everything you have ever wanted. And it's overshadowed by the thing you want most in life. To be a Hollywood star like The Rock. Miz finally got the talk shows. After he cashed in against Randy Orton with that briefcase, he went on all the show circuits. He was the most must-see champion in his eyes. But on the grandest stage of them all, even though he beat John Cena, did he get the respect that the fans, that he wanted? Did he get what he truly believed deep down he deserved? No. It was overshadowed by The Rock and John Cena when they announced once in a lifetime, a year ahead. So look at Miz. Everything that he aspired for, didn't even really want to be a wrestler, broke into it from the reality world, became the best, one of the best. Doesn't get injured, comes to work, puts in that day's effort, never gives up. He got thrown Ric Flair's signature figure 4 leg lock. Then he starts chasing Daniel Bryan when Daniel Bryan couldn't wrestle anymore, and Miz starts stealing his moves. He starts emanating. Daniel Bryan, meanwhile, has to sit on the sideline as a SmackDown GM. He has to be out there watching Miz every single week. If Daniel Bryan had gotten cleared a year and a half ago when he saw him doing a couple of his moves, and then he went and attacked him and we got a match, what purpose would that have served? When I talk about hashtag the payoff, it's for these big moments, these once-in-a-lifetime stories that you don't need to rush just to get a story or a pay-per-view match. That is the beauty of the WWE Network. That is the beauty of what WWE is doing now with sports rivalries, with Bayley, the Sasha, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, the friendships, pitting people against each other in sport. And Daniel Bryan and The Miz means so much more than that. If you truly look at where they were, now flip it over to Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan had to work through everything. He got fired from the company after he choked out the whole cord thing with Matthews. He got released. Now, if you remember back to SummerSlam when John Cena brought back Daniel Bryan, it was actually The Miz that was going to give John Cena that answer. John, maybe I'll join your team. Maybe. I'll give you my answer at SummerSlam. And what happened at SummerSlam? As Miz was ready to give his answer, John Cena says, I don't need you. I got my 7th team member against Nexus, and that was the Daniel Bryan. So that's when I talk about stories like this and drawing from the past. Yeah, Tubby, you're just connecting the dots, but that's what WWE does. That's what WWE is. That's what I have the passion for. As much as I wanted these guys to face each other a year or two ago, look at it now. Look how much more it means with Miz and Mrs., the TV show that adds a completely new layer to the scenario, to the story, to the build, to the impact that it actually has. That's what I see, and that's what I want. That's why I'm willing to be patient. I'm willing to watch Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton and understand that Kane getting involved is a part of the bigger story. It's separating them. They would eventually go into WrestleMania, and yeah, the payoff you got with the whole in-ring, whatever that was for Bray Wyatt, it didn't work. People got upset. But there's a reason things happen, and WWE doesn't always intentionally do this, but with Daniel Bryan and The Miz, I seriously had questioned not only Daniel Bryan's injury, but I questioned, does Vince see this stuff before anybody else? Is this the reason why we have storylines that start and stop? Because Vince knows where his overall big picture is going to go, but the writers change, so you have to start and stop or build different feuds, and when it finally happens, he already knew where it was going. I don't know if that's true, and that's probably one of the craziest things I've said, but I seriously questioned that last night after watching those video packages. Like, they've known this whole time. If you get one feud in your career that defines you, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, if you get that one feud, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, that sets your legacy apart, Daniel Bryan versus The Miz is the story and always was the story. For a while, I thought it was John Cena, Daniel Bryan, and The Miz. I thought it was this trio of watching the respect be given, but that's just a part of the bigger Daniel Bryan Miz thing. Imagine being The Miz and watching your rookie 3 years after your big spotlight, your chance. If you remember back when he had that Money in the Bank briefcase, it was his rookie, Daniel Bryan, that beat him for that United States title. I was there in person at Bragging Rights 2010 to watch Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler in one of my favorite matches of all time. Daniel Bryan has eclipsed The Miz in every single way, and Miz's defining, driving attitude to prove his rookie wrong is huge. And I love it. I absolutely love it. These are the once-in-a-lifetime stories. That's the reason I've held on to WWE. Why each week on programming, when you may get upset that this isn't building towards everything, those pointless matches they had, the pointless matches that Miz had, where he emulated Daniel Bryan's moveset, all comes full circle when they show off video packages, they show off him using it against them. If you've been watching those matches, you're like, what's the point? Why is The Miz stealing all of Daniel Bryan's moves? We're never getting Miz versus Daniel Bryan. This is pointless. This is crazy. Why would you build towards this? And it happened. Now, it maybe only happened because Daniel Bryan was cleared. A miracle. Daniel Bryan never gave up. That story of never being that guy that says no, that fights for his dreams like he did. Miz fought for his dreams, and he got what he wanted. He got the Hollywood story, the big house, the amazing wife, the family. And Daniel Bryan lives in a small house, gardens, has got a kid, and chases after wrestling. If that isn't one of the greatest stories of our generation, if that isn't something that makes you love wrestling and understand the struggles that they teased it for a very long time and now we're finally getting that payoff, I don't know what to say. But as somebody that very rarely chooses to make videos on certain topics nowadays, this is one I feel very passionate about. You're probably seeing the sweat just roll from my face because I truly care that much about it. So when somebody asks me, what are you most looking forward to this Sunday at WWE Summerslam? The payoff. Daniel Bryan versus The Miz, 10 years in the making. Rookie versus pro. Watching the guy take his WrestleMania spot, come into WrestleMania 30 where Daniel Bryan overcame all the odds. The rumors of it's going to be Triple H versus CM Punk, but nobody wants a match against Triple H. But Daniel Bryan overcomes that. He occupies Raw. He takes over the entire show. Triple H can't stand it. He gives him the match, but then if he beats him, he will also get the Mania main event. Miz walked in with a title over his shoulder, and thanks to The Rock, he walked out. Not Daniel Bryan. He had to have 2 matches in the same night, so as much as Miz is talking this crap that he doesn't get injured, that he does this, he does that, has he done what Daniel Bryan's done? No. I want this story to continue. This is the story I truly am a WWE fan for. I can put up with the weekly stuff because when these moments happen, it's more real and believable than anything WWE could ever do. Whether planned out, scripted, whether it was happened circumstances because of Daniel Bryan getting cleared, it doesn't matter. When somebody asks me, aren't you more happy for Joe versus Styles? Look at their history. You're right. They have a great history and it's going to be a great match, but it's not Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. It's not overshadowing his entire career. So this Sunday when you're watching WWE SummerSlam, I hope this is everything we wanted it to be. And if it's not, I hope it's everything we want to be at WrestleMania. If a hunch was in my stomach, if the gut could tell me anything, Daniel Bryan versus The Miz at WrestleMania for the WWE title is the biggest thing they could possibly do, as much as I love AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. I want to see this carry on. But if it doesn't, and this is the end Sunday, thank you, WWE. You got me hooked. But until next time, guys, my name is Eric. Thanks for watching. I hope just by talking some of this stuff out, you realize where I'm coming from. What I look for in a hashtag the payoff. Why I'm willing to wait. And I hope you're willing to wait. Because when WWE gets it right, they get it right. This is the reason you pay $9.99. This is the reason you buy the merchandise. This is the reason you show up. Thank you, Daniel Bryan and The Miz. I have not been this excited for a feud in years. And I know damn well you guys are going to deliver. So until next time, I'm Eric. Thanks for watching. Let me know your opinions and thoughts on Daniel Bryan versus The Miz this Sunday. Is there a match that you think eclipses that? I mean, to be fair, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte is a long time coming, and Sasha Banks and Bayley aren't even on the pay-per-view. Where does that lead to? Think of all the pay-per-views Miz was kept off of, all the pre-shows Miz was on. What kind of fire will that light under Bayley and Sasha Banks? Where will their story take us in years? Where will their Daniel Bryan versus The Miz story end up? That's what the payoff is, and that's what Tubby Emu is waiting for. Till next time, too sweet me.